Hi, this is Lee with Miller Pets, Plants, and Produce, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 7 beginner houseplants that I would recommend to beginners. Anybody who would ask me, hey, I'm getting my first houseplant, which I get, or the more common one, which is every time I get a houseplant, I kill it, which I get. If you're already in the houseplant community, these are going to be ones you've already heard of. This is going to be nothing new, but for beginners, I'm just going to show you the plants that I would recommend the most. And I'm going to show you, I found some old pictures of what my plants looked like in the past so you can kind of see how they grew over time. So here is how much spider plant that I started with at the end of 2021. It's now 2026. This is that specific plant, what it's looking like now. I have it in a window, which is why it's kind of like leaning toward the window. What spider plants are famous for is that they grow this long stalk with flowers that are small and white and really pretty, and it also grows baby spider plants from that stalk after those flowers bloom. So this one has done that like 2 or 3 times. So I now have not only that one, but this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I've given plants away of this too. So yeah, this is the original one. All these other ones are babies. Lots of these have multiple, like this is 3 babies together here. You will end up with a lot of these when your plant flowers. Oddly enough, none of these other ones I've had have flowered. I think it's just because they're not big enough. It could also be that they start putting out the babies once they are root bound, like maybe when they realize they are out of space, they send that out so that hopefully their baby plants can get further. I'm not sure though. All I know is that this original one has been root bound like most of my time keeping it. I have a picture of when I repotted it once, and it was just wild how many roots were there. And I actually didn't really repot it. This is the same pot I've always kept it in. What I did is this trick where you can take the plant out and just cut off the bottom 1/3 or 1/4 of the roots, and then put in fresh dirt and then put it back, and it will just continue. It will grow roots again into that space, and when it's growing into that new dirt, the leaves will continue to grow. Like, it will grow new leaves and everything. So it's like a way to trick it into the plant thinking that you repotted it, even though you really didn't. But some of these, like this is 3 plants here, and this seems root bound. Like, I'm hoping spring is coming soon. It's February when I'm recording this. I'm hoping that some of these will put out babies because just the exponential growth. I'll get a lot of these, and I don't necessarily want this many. Like, I only want 1 or 2 to keep, but I would like to sell some of these. This plant is really cheap though. You can find it like anywhere. And this is like the plant that you should go with if you're looking for just an indestructible plant. Like, can be grown by anybody. In fact, I can't even really talk about the care for this plant because the care is whatever you want. When I first got my original one, I had it in just topsoil and just watered it when the dirt feels dry, and that's it. Nowadays I do topsoil and perlite mix, and then whatever I've got, a little bit of bark. But it just doesn't really care, which is really cool. Some people don't like spider plants because they say it looks like grass, and I kind of agree, but I think it's still nice. Especially, it doesn't grow that tall, so you could put it with a taller plant that you have, and it will, at the base of that plant, and it will kind of provide more bushiness there. This is really a plant that looks great next to other plants to provide some different textures. But anyway, if you don't like that, you should go with pothos, specifically golden pothos, which is the most common, cheapest, most basic one. This is a smaller plant of this, but I have so much of this plant that I'm not even gonna go through the hassle of grabbing them all and bringing them here because it would just be like impossible. I do have a video of how much of this plant I had in September 2021. This one grows extremely quickly. There's also different varieties of pothos that you can try if you think this one is kind of boring, but they are all a little bit different, and this one has been the easiest in my experience. I also have neon pothos. I have what I think is a snow queen pothos. And the neon pothos is easy too, but it seems like I have had a little bit more issues with that. Pothos is great. It's kind of the same thing with a spider plant where it's like the care is whatever you want. With any plant, if you put it in a truly low light area, it will not grow there. When I had this plant at my old house in my bedroom, I would trail it up along the top edge of the wall of my room, and that my bedroom was so bright there, and it was fine with that. But whenever we moved here, and I had this plant, I had a really big long vine of it. I wanted to try to make the longest pothos vine that I could and like measure it. And so when I brought that plant here, there was this corner where like there's a door on each wall, meaning that there's just this corner where I couldn't put anything there. And I grabbed the vine and had it like trailing up and down that corner, and it was just way too dark, and the leaves just started dying off. So I ended up cutting that vine and cutting it all up, every single node to propagate. And I measured it, and it was 23 feet long. And before I moved here, it had most of its leaves still, like it was just full of leaves. So this plant is just so easy. It's just gonna grow. It grows before your eyes. It's so fast. Both of these plants look great hanging or not hanging. Both of these are safe for reptiles too, so you can put them in your bioactive enclosures. Number 3 on my houseplants for beginners list is the peperomia obtusifolia. This one has round leaves, so if you like that, this is the easiest plant with round leaves that I've ever kept. I have a picture of how much of this plant I had in July of 2022. This one is just a really fast grower too. It's really easy. It's just pot it in whatever you want. Put it in a window or a little bit back from a window or under a grow light, and you're pretty much good. This one is great. It's reptile safe, and it's great for reptiles that are a little bit heavier. They'll be climbing on it, like crested gecko, because it's got these thick leaves, you know, that are flexible and can support something climbing on it. I have some of this plant in my morning gecko enclosure, and it's definitely overkill for the baby morning geckos that I have, but it's just got those broad leaves, great for climbing reptiles. It is my main plant, and I also have this one, and then the one in the morning gecko tank. So this is a pretty prolific one. This one I have in a windowsill, and it's sort of gone a little curly in some areas. It's winter, so I think it was getting a little bit too cold, but this is just a hardy plant. It's not too affected by that, it seems. It's got just some weird curling to it, but really cute plant, and yeah, just extremely easy. This is one that gets pretty tall if you let it. Like this, if you put it on a stake, it will just grow up and up and up. I don't think it would really look good hanging because the leaves are so large, but I don't know. Next plant on my list is the tradescantia purple heart. This one is not actually one of my favorites in the way it looks, but it is one that's really easy. I got this one in a Cuttings mystery box, which are cheap, and they're a great way to cheaply get a bigger variety of plants, but sometimes you'll end up with a plant that you just don't really like that much, that you wouldn't have normally bought, which can sometimes be a nice surprise and other times not. I have a picture of how much I started with in September 2021. It was just like a little cutting with a couple leaves. And because I didn't really like the plant, I took forever to pot it up, and it survived. Like, it just continued to grow this really long, I mean, it was like 2 or 3 feet of this with leaves before I finally potted it up. And it's just been this is one that I've really like experimented with, like since I didn't really care about it, like I would put it in an experimental situation, like in a terrarium or what, not expecting it to live, and it always did live. But let's talk about why I don't really like this one, even though it's easy. So it's very fast growing, but it's fast to die too. Like the older leaves will die, meaning that it always looks a little bit beat up near the pot. Like right now, I could pull off all of these dead leaves. This could definitely be an issue with how I'm keeping it, since I don't give as much attention to this plant as my other ones, like I said. But I think that it's just kind of the style of the plant, because it grows so fast. This is like the trade-off. So because of that, this is one where it's good to chop it back a lot to keep it looking good. So as soon as I notice like one of these stalks is really long and it's bare a lot at the base, I will cut it near to the pot, and then I will pot back the trimming back in. That way it stays fuller, because if you didn't do that, it would eventually become like all the leaves would be down here and up here would be all bare. It's just kind of, I don't know, I don't really like that about it. The leaves are very big, which is cool for some people, but it also, I don't know, kind of throws off how it looks for me. One thing I like about it is the color. The purple color of the backs of the leaves is really nice, and the more light you give it, the more blue. The more light you give it, the more purple it's gonna be. So I do like that. I do like moving it to a sunnier location and watching the new growth get super purple. I don't know, it's one where I'm just not so sure about it. But if you like how it looks and you don't mind having to trim it back or start new plants of it a little bit more often, you would definitely enjoy this one, and it'd be very easy. Also, the leaves are kind of like hairy. I'll get a up close footage of it, but it's, I don't know, it's a little weird. This is the snake plant. Mine is huge and awesome. I got this one as a gift from a friend's mom who has a really giant one of this plant. Like, I was told I was gonna get a cutting, and what I got is everything except, so if you look down here, oh my goodness, you'll see that this is kind of its own plant right here. This is like a baby that it grew, and then this is the original one. This is what I received, and then this is the baby that it has since grown. And this was not a cutting at all. This is like a full plant. This one has been pretty easy for me. The only things I've had happen with it are the leaves on mine are pretty curly. You can see right here, it's kind of curling in at the ends. That's probably due to underwatering. And I think there's some marks on right here. Yeah, there's some like orange marks. I don't know what that is. Maybe some kind of pest damage of some sort. But this is one where you don't really have to worry about things like that nuking the plant. It's like it will probably just deal. With this one though, you're gonna have to make sure you do not water it barely ever. This one is a succulent, so like other succulents, it is super prone to rotting if you water it too much. Even one water that came too soon can ruin the plant. This one, I've gone 2, 3, maybe even 4 months without watering before. But usually I go about a month without watering it. I actually keep track of when I water this plant. This is the only one where I actually will write down when I watered it. That way I can refer back to that. If I'm thinking like, oh, this looks really, really dry, does this need a water? I can check and see the last time I watered it to see if it really does need one. Because these big, thick leaves store a lot of water, and it truly doesn't need any for a long time. But Like I said, mine is curling, and that's probably due to underwatering. You know, as the leaf loses water, I'm assuming that's what happened. And that does not go back, by the way. Like after watering, it's just like that. After watering, it doesn't like swell back up or anything like that. I've had this plant in highlight. I've had it in low light. It just adapted. This plant also did probably the most exciting thing that any plant has ever done for me, which is that it flowered. And this is not one that is common to flower. Um, the only other plants I've had flower besides this one are the spider plant and Christmas cactus, I think. Oh, and the peace lily. Um, but I think that's all that I've had flower. So when this started flowering, I was very excited about that. And I looked it up, and it's just like we don't know what triggers it. It's just like sometimes people's spider plants just start flowering. But when mine flowered, it was in pretty high light. And like I said, I would barely ever water it. So that's how it flowered for me. But that was just so exciting. The flowers were so large, the stalk was so large, it smelled good. It even had like these little drops of nectar on it, which I ate. I had to taste it, and it tasted really good. And that was just like, that felt really good. That was a really cool event. It's only happened once for me. I'll try to see when those pictures are from to also tell you what time of year it flowered. I'm guessing it was during the summer, but I hope that your snake plant will flower so that you can experience that, because that was pretty exciting. So this one does put out the babies. Like that, you can get in there and pull it apart and pot that up separately if you want more of these. Or you can propagate it at the top. You can make I don't think you can even see up this high, but you can make a triangular shaped cutting, just like the leaf. That way it will still look good, and then you can put that in water or right in dirt, I think. I've never done that because I think I have enough of it right now. This one is the syngonium. I have a picture of how much of this plant I had in June 2024. And it doesn't look like I have too much more of it since then, but I do have more, I would say. This one, as far as I know, is just a regular syngonium. But there are a ton of varieties of this plant, and I haven't kept any of those. But as far as just like the regular classic one, it's been really easy. I have mine on a moss bowl so that it can grow up tall, but it doesn't need that. You could put it on a stake, or if the plant is really small, it won't need anything. But you'll start to see that these stalks will grow very quickly and start flopping over. So you'll probably want to stake it up at that point, something. This one, a lot of people say that it likes to stay moist. But for me, I let the soil dry out, and it seems to do fine with that. I really underwater my plants because I'm more worried about rot than I am about the plant not getting enough water. And this is one where it's been fine with that. Even with my moss poles, I honestly let them dry out. Most people would not do that. Like, some people say that moss poles only are useful when they are constantly moist. But I've found that plants still root into them fully and get support from it and everything, even when it dries out and I have to water it. But I'm not sure about that. Like, as time goes on, I might end up disagreeing with that. I might find that keeping them moist actually really helps, but I don't know. I let them dry out for now. I'm pretty sure this one has rooted into it. Really want to get this one soon, like growing along all sides of this moss pole, because right now it's kind of got a back. Like, this is the back of the plant, and this is the front of the plant. But the moss pole is in the middle. So I should be able to get it going all around and just rotate it sometimes. I think that would look so cool. But this one is super easy. And I don't think I'm ever going to extend this moss pole because the tallest nodes are right here. So look how long this, what would you call this? Would you call this a stem? I don't know. But these are super long. So by the time the nodes are up here, the leaves would be like way high. So I don't know, I'm just rambling on about this one now. Now, the last plant that I recommend for beginners on this list is the Thanksgiving cactus or Christmas cactus or Easter cactus. I have the Thanksgiving cactus, which I originally bought as a Christmas cactus. But I'm pretty sure all of them have really similar care. But yeah, I have only kept this variety. But these holiday cactuses are selectively bred to bloom during holidays. This one is Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving around that time, it puts out these big, beautiful red flowers, which is really cool. One time it did bonus blooms for me. What happened is it bloomed during Thanksgiving. I had it in a window, and then I moved it to under a grow light shortly after that. And I think just the decrease in light led it to thinking, like being confused about the time, and it just put out more flowers. It had stopped, they all died, and then it put out more, and then it did still bloom the next year. So these can bloom a lot. You can kind of trick them to bloom more if you really want to, or it will do it naturally during Thanksgiving. I remember when I first got this plant, like this was the first houseplant I ever technically got, I think. I remember seeing like these guides online for how to get it to flower, and it would say like, put it in your closet for such and such amount of time, don't water it, put it in total darkness, stuff like that. And while that probably gets you more flowers, you don't need to do any of that. For me, every Thanksgiving it blooms just doing nothing, changing no care at all, just the natural change, the lower light levels, the slightly colder temperatures, do it for this plant. This one you can propagate by leaf as well. I don't know if this would really be called a leaf, or if it's something else, because this isn't a real cactus, I'm pretty sure. So it probably is just called leaves, but you can just like twist it off, and then it will grow roots from that little point where the leaves connect. So this is a really famous one, and for good reason, definitely. Mine's got a bunch of water spots on it. Should probably clean that. But really good one. Oh, also I have a picture of this specific plant of Thanksgiving cactus from September 2021. It was so little at that time. I'm so glad it's so much bigger now. I mean, it's still small compared to some that I've seen, but yeah, that is the last one for this video. So those are the 7 houseplants that I would recommend to anybody if they ask me, like, what plant should I get? That's the easiest. Depending on just the look that you like the best out of those. You could go with any of those as your first plant and you would probably be good. But everybody's experience is different. So for some, these plants may be difficult. For some, there might have been some plants that they kept that were way easier. So that's just my opinion, but good luck. Plant keeping, I hope your house becomes full of houseplants that will inspire you to get a bunch of plants. And subscribe for videos about plants, reptiles, fish, and invertebrates. And I'll see you next time.